Well, I'd like to talk a little bit about some advice I would have for students that might be watching this. Sort of broken up in several different categories, beginning with what to do in high school, and then, since I'm a college professor, sort of things that I would recommend to my students and the Parkway students when they do get to college. One of the first things I want to emphasize that was important in my life is the using high school to develop your basic skills. And one of the most basic skills that was important in my life was mathematics. I remember my three mathematics teachers very fondly and very clearly. Mr. Betts taught me algebra, Mr. Holmes taught me geometry, and then Mr. Belts taught me calculus. Most students understand that mathematics and statistics also are important in the sciences, but what they may not understand is that they're very important in economics and the business world. And that's one thing I've learned as an economist. So they should work on their mathematics skills both in high school and also in college. And those skills will become in handy if you go on to get business degrees for learning modern finance, modern marketing, and modern management. One of the other things I want to emphasize that I think is important to work on in high school is both your writing and speaking if possible. I know from teaching at Rutgers that it's very difficult for universities to teach these skills. Classes may be too big, and they don't really think to try to teach these skills. So you really have to work on them when you're in high school. I recommend that students pay attention to the comments they get from their teachers, both in English and social studies, on the papers they write. I remember distinctly several of my English teachers give me very brutal, harsh, detailed comments on my writing. I thought it was unfair at the time and sort of needless, but now my poor graduate students in economics have to endure my detailed comments both on the substantive part of their research papers and on their English and sentence structure. I know some students who may be watching this will be preparing for college, and I have some advice there too, since I'm a college professor. One of the unfortunate facts of life in our large economy is the use of standardized tests, but I'm encouraging students to take these very seriously, to prepare in as many ways as possible, because they do determine the opportunities that are available to you. The second bit of advice is I recommend that students apply to a lot of universities and colleges and apply to the best universities and colleges that their record justifies. It's an important time in your life. It's a decision that changes a lot of things, and you want to have a choice, and you want to have a good choice. Even if you have to borrow money and leave home to go to a better university, it's very important. You meet more interesting students, and you're challenged by more distinguished professors. In my life, going away to Stanford University in California as a graduate student changed everything. It was a top economics department. I didn't quite realize that at the time. My advisor was a young star in the field of industrial organization and even went on to win a Nobel Prize. Once you're at a university, I also have more advice. This is advice I give to my students over and over. It's almost to the point where I have to type it up now. I have to give it so many times. Again, once you're in college, focus on the basic skills, your math, your statistics. Take all the math and statistics that you can. Many of my students are planning to graduate, work for a couple years, and then get an MBA and work in business. They don't understand that math and stat are so important, and so I encourage them to continue to take it while they're at the university. Second, a bit of advice. Avoid the easy routes through college. Many students take the easy courses. Universities offer up these courses, and they're easier to get good grades in, but they always hurt you. Your transcript doesn't look as attractive, and it harms you in terms of applying to both jobs and to graduate schools. So take the most challenging courses when you get to college. Now, so suppose you're out of college now and you're sort of working on what your career is. One of the important lessons in economics is specialization in your career and your life. This is, again, a fact of life, but it allows you to have a good income and have a good career. The difficulty, of course, is identifying a specialization in a given field that suits your interests and your talents and your personality. My advice here is just let that happen naturally. For me, My specialization in economics is competition policy. It's a small area of economics indeed, and I don't think there's any point at which I could say I actually chose to do that specialization. It arose naturally from a very dynamic professor I had at the University of Missouri as an undergraduate and a very dynamic professor at Stanford University when I was a graduate student. Can't say I chose it, but when looking back, it seems very natural for me now. And lastly, one last bit of advice. Once you are off in a career and you've specialized in something and things are going well, make sure you continue to develop your skills in that career. Our economy is so dynamic now that existing sets of skills become outdated overnight. So stay abreast of your field and continue to work on it. And one last bit of advice, as long as you've chosen a career that's growing, stay with it, be persistent, be patient. There's going to be some bad times, and you just have to fight your way through those. When I meet young economists that I often do in the process of recruiting or at conferences, I sometimes see that they're discouraged about their initial progress in the profession, and so all I do is I sit down and tell them that 4 or 5 times in my career as an economist I almost quit. But I just stayed a little bit longer, another 6 months, another year, kept fighting, and good fortune came my way. So good luck with your careers, and it's nice to have been able to say some things to you.